Where do we come from? It is perhaps the most fundamental question we can ask. It's a question that has echoed through the halls of human history, whispered in ancient temples and debated in modern laboratories. Long before we had telescopes to peer into the distant cosmos, our ancestors looked up at the same night sky we see today. They saw the moon, the stars, the vast dark expanse, and they wondered, how did all of this come to be? How did we, humanity, find our place within this grand, mysterious tapestry? This deep-seated need to understand our origins is a universal human experience, a thread that connects every culture and every generation across time. From this universal wonder, stories were born. They were profound narratives that sought to provide meaning, to explain the unexplainable, and to anchor humanity within the cosmos. They are stories of creation. One comes from the Bible, another comes from the Qur'an. These accounts have shaped civilizations and inspired art. They provided a framework for understanding our relationship with a higher power and with the universe itself. But these are not the only stories we tell about the beginning. In more recent times, another narrative has emerged, born of observation, mathematics, and relentless curiosity. This is the story of science. It speaks of the Big Bang, cosmic expansion, the slow, methodical evolution of stars, the formation of planets, and the emergence of life. It offers a different kind of explanation, grounded in physical evidence and the laws of nature. And so, we stand today at a fascinating crossroads. Different paths leading back to the dawn of time. Do these stories conflict? It is about appreciating the different ways we have sought to answer that one profound question: how did it all begin? Let's begin with the book of Genesis, the very first book of the Hebrew and Christian Bibles. Here, the story of creation unfolds with a poetic and majestic rhythm. It starts in darkness and formlessness. The text says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Light is separated from darkness. The sky is separated from the waters. Dry land emerges. On the third day, plant life appears. On the fourth, the sun, moon, and stars are set in the sky to mark seasons and time. The fifth day sees the creation of sea creatures and birds which are blessed to be fruitful and multiply. On the sixth day, land animals are created, and then, as the pinnacle of this divine work, humankind is made." Now let's turn to the Qur'an, the holy book of Islam. The Qur'an does not present a single continuous creation story in one chapter like Genesis. Instead, verses describing creation are woven throughout its many chapters or surahs. These verses often serve as reminders of God's or Allah's power and wisdom. A key theme is that the heavens and the earth were once a single joined entity. For instance, Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21 verse 30 asks, "Have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing?" The Quran also speaks of a creation process that took place over a period of time, often referred to as 6 ayam. Ayam can be translated as days or interpreted as long periods or eons. Verses in Surah Al-Araf, chapter 7 verse 54 state, "Indeed your Lord is Allah who created the heavens and earth in 6 days and then established himself above the throne." The Quran emphasizes the creation of everything in pairs, the orderly function of the sun and moon, and the formation of humanity from clay or dust, echoing a theme also found in the Bible. The focus is less on a day-by-day sequence, and more on the signs of God's magnificent power present in the natural world. When we place the creation stories of the Bible and the Quran side by side, one of the most powerful similarities is the central role of a single, all-powerful creator. They are portrayed as the ultimate source of all existence. Both scriptures place humanity in a special position. We are made from the same elemental stuff as the planet we inhabit, a humbling, grounding thought. For most of human history, our understanding of creation was guided by faith and philosophy. Armed with tools like telescopes, particle accelerators, observation, experimentation, it begins about 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang. From that singularity, the universe began a rapid, violent expansion. In the first fractions of a second, the universe inflated at incredible speed. Fundamental forces separated. Gravity. As the universe expanded, it cooled, allowing subatomic particles to form. Protons. After about 380,000 years, it cooled enough for atoms to form. Hydrogen. That recombination released a flash we still detect today, the cosmic microwave background. The scientific story continues over billions of years. Gravity began to pull the vast clouds of hydrogen, their cores grew hotter and denser until nuclear fusion ignited. The first stars were born. Inside stars, lighter elements were forged into heavier ones. Carbon-massive stars exploded as supernova, scattering those elements across the cosmos. Our solar system formed about 4.6 billion years ago from a cloud of gas and dust. The Earth began as a molten ball of rock. Life, according to science, began in that primordial environment. The exact mechanism remains under intense research. The first simple, single-celled organisms emerged, and through evolution by natural selection, life gradually diversified over billions of years into the array of species we see today. When we place the ancient narratives of the Bible and the Qur'an alongside the modern narrative of science, it can feel like looking at two completely different worlds. The language is different, the methods are different. The conclusions seem, at first glance, to be in direct opposition. Religious texts speak of a who, a personal, intentional creator. Science speaks of a how, a series of natural processes and physical laws. However, the relationship between these narratives is not always one of conflict. They argue that science and religion ask different kinds of questions. Why is there a universe at all? What is our purpose within it? In our modern, interconnected world, people hold a diverse range of views on how to reconcile these powerful stories of creation. There is no single, universally accepted answer. Many believers today practice what is known as theistic evolution. They fully accept the scientific consensus on the Big Bang and evolution, but believe these processes were initiated and guided by God. God is the primary cause of all things. Another significant group treats the biblical and Quranic creation stories as profound metaphors rather than literal history. For them, these texts were never meant to be scientific textbooks. They are theological documents that convey deep truths about the nature of God. Others maintain a literalist interpretation of their holy texts. This view, often called young Earth creationism, holds the world was created by God in 6 24-hour days, and that the Earth is only a few thousand years old, as fundamentally flawed and incompatible with their faith. Finally, a growing number, including many scientists and secular individuals, view the scientific account as the most reliable story of our origins. They see the Big Bang and evolution as robust scientific frameworks supported by overwhelming evidence from many fields. Navigating the different stories of our origins. A respectful conversation begins with listening. For a person of deep faith, their creation story is not just a quaint tale. Similarly, for a scientist, the Big Bang theory is not just a guess. We can find common ground by focusing on the sense of wonder that all these stories inspire. It reminds us that, regardless of our specific beliefs, we are all inhabitants of the same mysterious and beautiful universe, and we are all on a quest for knowledge. The universe is vast and full of questions. So, who got creation right? The Bible, the Quran, science? Perhaps the most profound answer is that they are all right in the context of the questions they seek to answer. The scriptures of the Bible and the Quran provide an answer to the question of why. They offer a story of purpose, of a divine will, and of a special place for humanity within a grand, sacred plan. They have provided meaning, moral guidance. Science, in turn, provides a breathtakingly detailed answer to the question of how. It tells a story of cosmic evolution over 13.8 billion years, from a singular point of energy to the complex web of life on our planet. It is a story written in the language of mathematics. It reveals a universe far older, larger, and more intricate than our ancestors could have ever imagined. These stories, both ancient and modern, endure because they speak to a fundamental human need, the need to know where we come from in order to understand who we are. They are our anchor in the vast ocean of time and space. Whether we see ourselves as children of God created in a divine image or as children of the cosmos forged in the hearts of dying stars, these narratives give us a sense of belonging. They frame our existence, giving context to our lives, our struggles, and our aspirations. They transform us from mere biological organisms into beings with a history and a destiny. In the end, the quest to understand our origins is a journey that may never be complete. Each answer, whether from faith or from science, only leads to deeper and more fascinating questions. What existed before the Big Bang? What is the ultimate purpose of a divinely created universe? These stories are not just tales about the past, they are invitations to the future. They inspire us to keep searching, to keep wondering, and to keep looking up at the sky with humility and awe. They remind us that to be human is to ask the big questions, and the search for answers is perhaps the grandest adventure of all.